coffee, the nectar of the gods, as they say. But here's a story about how a coffee brand made billions with branding. And this can help your business. You're probably not in the $1 billion range in terms of revenue, but emotion is extremely important to our branding. And I'm going to tell you a story right now about how a brand took emotion and created a $30 billion industry out of it. Back in the 1970s, Japan didn't drink coffee. This was not part of their culture. They preferred tea. They thought of coffee as bitter and Western and just something that they didn't vibe with. They didn't think of it in terms of what they do every day like we do. And as I'm doing now to stay awake in order to do all this content that I do. But Nestle wanted to break into Japan with coffee. Why not? It's an untapped market, has billions in potential, they thought. And they were right. It had a lot of potential. So they did what a lot of brands do, and what I suspect that your brand has done or your business has done, and that's that they started running ads. Then they resorted to discounts, and then they just did all kinds of spray and pray measures to try to force their way into the market. As you can imagine, it didn't work. Japan didn't drink any coffee at that time. And in fact, the U.S. at the time, and probably not surprising, drank about 4 times more coffee than Japan did at that time in the 70s. So what was Nestle to do? Their ads weren't working, as I'm sure you might have felt before and have been frustrated. Why are my ads not working? Well, what did they do? They hired a child psychologist, of all people, right? Why? Well, because of what he was going to tell them. He told them to stop advertising to adults. Start going after the younger demographics. Maybe a bit of a shady tactic, maybe, but, no different maybe than a candy company or a toy company. I used to watch Saturday morning cartoons when I was a kid, and of course was inundated with all the G.I. Joes and all kinds of things that I wanted and coveted as a kid. So not really anything different, but why did they do this? Well, by doing so, they were hoping to change the impression about the coffee, change the association with it, which was what this child psychologist's insight was. So they started making candy-flavored things, candy-scented things, coffee-flavored things, coffee-scented things. They started putting coffee in ads that had a home environment, and you woke up to the smell of coffee. Not unlike the Folgers, right? The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. I think Nestle did that. That was their opportunity, right? So in the 70s, they started marketing these things where the younger demographic was. What happened when that younger demographic became the adult demographic? They started drinking coffee. Why? Not because they were sold coffee as this great thing, tastes great, it's awesome, it'll wake you up, the best part of your day. They were sold emotion. They were told about the outcome of drinking coffee, of having coffee around, of the smell of coffee, of the taste of coffee. They associated it, rightly so, right? I'm drinking it right now. It's warm, right? It's comforting. There's love there associated with it. Being in the home in the mornings, there's safety with that environment. And so, of course, now it's a $30 billion industry. Not because they sold them a fact or a feature or an innovative solution, but because they sold emotion, because they displayed a story of the outcome of who you are when you drink coffee. And Nestle owns the large majority of that $30 billion industry. Now, they played the long game. That didn't get them the instant sale that a digital ad would today, perhaps. But it also got them what they were after. It just took time. And sometimes good marketing, which is, think about what you're doing with your marketing. You're trying to change behaviors. That takes time. We don't instantly just go, oh, your coffee is made from beans that were sourced in this certain region of the world and they have this sort of flavor, and go, oh, I am now a coffee drinker. That's not how our brains work. So if you are considering another ads spray that's going to be frustrating to you because your last campaigns were, and you're not really sure why that's working, ask yourself and review those ads. How often are you talking about the emotion that a person feels when they use your product or your service? How often are you talking about the outcomes? Go to your website right now. Look at the very first thing at the top of the homepage above the fold that a potential customer is going to read. Is it about you? Is it about your product? Is it about how shiny and great your product or service is? How innovative it is? How packed with new AI features it is? Or is the first thing that they see about them and who they'll become when they use your product or service? Is it about the emotion that is attached to using your service? Emotion, branding, built a $1 billion industry over the course of time. Let's call it 20 years. Now, you might not want to wait 20 years. I don't blame you. But you definitely want some more conversions, right? You have to infuse emotion into your advertising and your marketing. You have to, because it is what we are wired to respond to, because our brains literally process emotion in the same part of the brain that processes decision making, that takes action. So they're connected. It is a different part of the brain that processes numbers, facts, figures, solutions, all these fancy gadgets and things that we want to talk over and over and endlessly about because we're in love with our product. Cannot get them to take an action. It has to be emotion. So what is your product? Who is it for? Why do you exist? That's important. I'm Mark. I help do these things for brands. I've been doing it for over a decade, and I love doing it. I would love to talk to you about your why, your brand, and how you can take your story and turn it into a system that actually converts. It won't take you 20 years, I promise. You're not trying to create a new market from scratch, I assume. But we can make your product connect on an emotional level together. I offer a variety of ways to do that. It all starts with just a 15-minute conversation. Do you have 15 minutes to learn more about this and apply it to your own brand? I'll help you do that, and I will never hold you to that 15-minute time limit if you would like to chat more. But it all starts with a 15-minute conversation, which you can find the link to set up in the description of this video. So let's start there. Let's talk about your future $1 billion industry. Or maybe let's just share a cup of coffee. Cheers.